So over half of Americans don't have the cash to cover a $1,000 emergency expense, which is one of the main reasons why finances are the #1 stress in life for too many people. But what if you could go from less than $1,000 in savings to over $10,000 saved in just 1 year? And I know that might sound impossible, but I've done it, and so have millions of others who followed a similar plan like the one we're going to talk about in this video, with 10 ways to save $10,000 as soon as possible. So let's get right into it. Now first, because 10K is such a large number, if we want to save that amount in around 1 year, we've got to put it into perspective. So divided by 12 months, that works out to be about $834 per month, or $28 per day, rounded up to keep it simple. Now that means when we're talking about saving money in this video to hit that savings goal, we should not be focused on a lump sum of 10,000 in 1 year, because that's too much over too long of a time frame. But instead, we want to focus more on how we can save through our actions we take every single day and every single month, because it's those things that'll translate directly into increasing our savings in the long run. So our goal is going to be to find an extra $834 per month, but doing that from savings alone is actually pretty tough, since you can only cut back on your expenses up to a certain amount. So what I want to do is split that up into 2 buckets. The first half of that, or $417 per month, in bucket number 1 is going to be from extra savings that we can create from spending less. And I've got 5 very effective ways that I'm going to go over for doing that. And then the other half of $417 per month in bucket number 2 is going to be from extra income, because income has no limit. So again, I've got another 5 ways to earn more that anyone can do no matter what your situation is. So first, let's look at our savings bucket. And the primary way to reduce our expenses and save money is to attack the big 3 expenses, which are housing, transportation, and food. Now those 3 areas of spending tend to be the highest for the majority of people out there. And I know for me, those things combined can make up almost 2/3 of my monthly budget. So what I want you to do is write down a list of every possible expense that you currently have every month for these things, like rent or your mortgage, any car payments, groceries, or dining out, and then go through your credit card and bank statements from last month or the last 2 months. That way you can come up with a total of how much you're spending in these areas per month. The idea is, if you can focus the majority of your time and energy on reducing expenses that potentially make up 2/3 or more of your budget, then that's going to be the quickest way to save money that'll have the most impact on your personal bottom line. Then after you've listed out everything, get creative with it and really ask yourself if there are cheaper alternatives. So can you live in a cheaper apartment if you're renting? Can you sell your car and buy something cheaper to drive that's still reliable? Or if you're living in a city, do you really even need a car in the first place? And once you've addressed housing and transportation, because those things are pretty straightforward, then it's time to take a look at your food budget. And this leads me to the second big way to save money to reach our 10K savings goal. So we're going to do what I call strategic food spending. Now with this, if you're looking to save money as fast as possible, then I'd say to immediately cut out things like food delivery and dining out at restaurants in the short term, or at least try to limit yourself to paying for those things maybe once a month. If you do want to go out to eat, then try to avoid spending money on drinks, because typically those are the menu items that have the highest markups. And if you're someone that likes to go ahead and grab drinks with friends, then pay very close attention to that too, because those drinks add up really quickly if you're going out on a regular basis. Now for grocery spending, this is where we really want to try to hack our brains a little bit to save some money. And the first way I like to do this is by never going grocery shopping on an empty stomach. I mean, if you think about it, when you're hungry and you're surrounded by food at the grocery store, you're just going to be tempted to buy things you don't really need, or you'll buy more food than you planned for. But also make sure that you make a list before you go food shopping too. Just by having a plan before you walk into the grocery store, you're more likely to stick to it and not browse the shelves as you think about what you might and might not need to buy. And also, going to the same grocery store consistently is really helpful too with this, because you'll learn exactly where everything is. So again, less time browsing the shelves and less temptation to buy stuff you don't need. And finally, with grocery shopping and saving on food, try to buy the store brand stuff over the name brands from most of your shopping list if you can, because a lot of the time it's practically the same stuff. Sometimes there's certain foods where I'll always buy the name brand, but you can pick and choose for yourself depending on what you like and how much money you're trying to save. And you also might be better off by going to cheaper stores too, like Trader Joe's or Aldi, instead of the premium ones like Whole Foods. So overall, there's lots of ways to save on those big 3 expenses of housing, transportation, and food. And those have to be the first places you look to cut back and save, because if we take a look at bucket number 1 for saving an extra $417 per month, let's say you can decrease your rent by $150 per month. And let's also say you can save another $100 per month by cutting back on not dining or not getting food delivery. Plus, maybe on average, you can cut back on groceries by $40 per month, which I think is very realistic. Then that's already 70% of the way to our monthly savings goal of $417. And I know those are simple examples, but I just want to show you that it's possible. So keep an open mind about saving money, because even if you can't cut back and save $417 per month, wouldn't you rather save half of that, or at least some of it, than nothing at all? But that leads me to the third way to save money, which I call passive savings on minor expenses. And I really like this one for the compounding effect it has on saving money. So let me explain what it is. Now, most of us have heard the term passive income, where you do some work upfront on a business, or you buy some assets like stocks or real estate, and then those things pay you every single month in the form of dividends or positive cash flow. Well, I don't ever hear people talking about the opposite of that for what I call passive savings, savings. So that's basically where you do a one-time action to eliminate an expense or greatly reduce it to save money each month on a recurring basis. So an example of that could be your cell phone bill, where you might look at that and realize that you're paying $100 per month for something that another carrier could offer you for $50 or less. And if you made a switch today, you're not just saving $50 one time, but you're saving $50 every single month by not doing anything else. And that really helps to free up your budget. You could do the same thing with a number of other monthly expenses too, like finding a cheaper gym membership, canceling cable, or canceling other streaming services you might not use anymore. You might also want to do something called the a la carte method, which is just where you list out all your monthly subscriptions and then cancel every single one of them except maybe internet. And then you just buy things a la carte one by one. I know that might sound a little unconventional and not very practical, but maybe instead of streaming songs on Spotify, you just buy your favorite songs one by one so you own them forever. Or you buy TV episode downloads one by one, or day passes to the gym. But basically this just makes you more conscious of your spending and less reliant on subscriptions, which can be overvalued and underused anyway. And the lack of convenience with no subscriptions is just kind of the price you pay for saving money and learning more about what you're paying for. So let's say with subscriptions in our first bucket that we're able to find ways to reduce our total monthly expenses by $50 per month. That continues putting us closer and closer to the monthly savings goal. Next, for my fourth way to save money, which sounds really simple, but it's called the 30-day rule. Now the 30-day rule basically just says that for any larger purchases or purchases that aren't a part of your normal everyday spending, what you want to do is not buy it on the day you want it, but instead wait 30 days before making that purchase. And you can even adjust this rule for yourself and make it less time, like maybe 7 days or 15 days. But the point is you want to become less impulsive and more conscious of your spending, which really is a big takeaway for this video. So what I do is whenever I want to buy something that's over $100 or so, I write down what that item is as a reminder in my phone and set it to remind me in 30 days. And then after 30 days, once I've had some time to really think, read reviews, and weigh the benefits I think that item will give me, if I still feel like I want to buy it, then at that time I'll buy it, because now I've put more thought into my decision and can be more confident I'm getting the value that I expect. Now I know that might sound silly, but I've noticed a huge difference in my spending habits now compared to back when I was in high school. So I'm making a lot more money now, obviously, but I spend so much less on random junk because I was able to create a new habit of being thoughtful and not spontaneous when it comes to my spending. And I'm not just going shopping and buying things for a quick dopamine hit. Okay, now next, for the fifth way I have to save money before we talk about the fun stuff with increasing our income, and that's going to be to ignore sales and rethink shopping portals. So whenever we see sales going on in stores for something like 25% off or buy one get one free, we feel like we're getting a good deal because the store is able to anchor us to what the price is for those items before the sale. We also usually feel a sense of urgency because sales typically have some sort of a time limit or an inventory limit to them, or maybe the sale is only active for the week leading up to Labor Day, or maybe we see that we can only get this deal while supplies last. But those are all just really effective sales tricks that are literally proven to get people to part ways with their money because of that urgency they create. And when you pair it with how easy companies make it to pay for things by reducing friction for payment, so think of how easy it is to tap to pay with Apple Pay, or how you can literally swipe to buy something on the Amazon app, all those things combined can make people spend way more money than they otherwise would if they just lived in a cave somewhere without an internet connection to blast their email inbox with sales and promotions. So what I do is I just ignore sales. I never go shopping online or in person at a store just because they have some limited time sale going on. Instead, when I realize I need to buy something that I've thought about using the 7-day or 30-day rule, I'll just search around the web and find the best price to buy it. And if there's a sale going on or an upcoming sale, then that's great. I'll take advantage of that and save money as a bonus. Now, I also said to rethink shopping portals like Rakuten, for example, because I think those sites can be great. And by the way, link down below to get $30 to $40 off your first purchase through Rakuten. But you need to be using those shopping portals or cashback sites the right way. So I never start by shopping on Rakuten first because there's always so many deals going on that I might see. So maybe there's higher cashback from Nike where I could buy some new sneakers, but I wasn't originally planning on buying new sneakers in the first place until I saw that cashback offer. So what I did was I downloaded the browser extension for Rakuten, and now whenever I need to buy something, I just go to the store's website first and activate Rakuten second. That way I'm not influenced by seeing what looks like a good deal. So if we go back to our savings bucket number 1, let's pretend that on average, the amount of money that we save from spending on sales and shopping in general by following these tips is around $77 per month. That brings us to our monthly savings goal of $417 in this bucket. But that's only halfway to our annualized 10K savings goal. So like I said, to get the other 417, we need to increase our income so we're not just cutting back too much on our spending. And the first way to increase your income is simply to increase your main salary. Now, of course, that's easier said than done, but the two ways that people most commonly increase their salary at their job is either by asking for a raise or by moving companies to a similar job that'll pay more. And actually, many times changing jobs is the way to go for growing your salary the fastest because you could outpace inflation by nearly 10%, but staying at your current job could leave you worse off in many cases as your raises might trail behind inflation, so your purchasing power is actually decreasing. Now, there's a lot of things that you have to consider, like job location, benefits, commuting, and work-life balance, just to name a few. But in many situations, changing jobs or at least exploring your options could be the way to go, which is exactly what I did at the end of last year to increase my income. Now, if you can't change jobs or get a raise, then the next best thing and second way to increase your income could be to work overtime hours, which might offer higher hourly wages, or you could pick up a second job if you have the time for it. Obviously, you have to consider a lot of factors, but if your main goal in the short term is to save up something like $10,000 and build up an emergency fund, then if you can sacrifice some time now to earn more, it'll greatly reduce your stress in the long run when you have those cash savings. And if overtime or a second job working for someone else isn't the best option for you, then now is a great time to work for yourself and start a side hustle, which is the third way that you can boost your earnings. I made a video going over some of the best side hustles right now in my opinion, so go check that out down below after watching this. But you could really monetize so many things in so many ways today. You could do the typical side hustles like driving for Uber or making DoorDash deliveries on nights and weekends, which is gonna trade your time for money but isn't really scalable. Or you can make money from things that you're passionate about. So maybe you can be a personal trainer on the side, or you can start a blog or a YouTube channel providing value and information to others. You don't have to aim to make a lot, because remember, for bucket number 2 of increasing our income, we just need around $417 per month. And really, there's countless ways to do this, but if you want to make even more progress towards getting 10K in savings in 1 year, then you could do the oldest side hustle of all time for the 4th way to increase your income, and that's just to sell old stuff. All you gotta do is go through your closets, your basement, or even go through other people's old stuff, whether that's from family members or from garage sales, and you could sell pretty much anything on sites like eBay or Facebook Marketplace. Again, there's infinite possibilities here, so all you really need to do is just hustle and get creative, but there's no reason you can't make a few $100s extra per month just flipping stuff and selling old things you don't even use anymore. But on top of any salary increases or side hustles or whatever else you're doing to increase your income, the 5th way you can earn more every month to reach your savings goal is to take advantage of bank account bonuses. So I used to sign up for maybe 3 to 4 new bank accounts every single year and got around $200 or more per new account, and all I had to do was just set up my paycheck with direct deposit and keep a minimum there for 60 days or so, but after all that, it was like free money. So if you could get a new bank account bonus every 3 months for 4 new accounts per year at $200 per account on average, that's basically like $67 per month to help us fill out that bucket number 2 goal of $417 in additional monthly earnings. So let's say that you got a $2,000 raise at your job, or by changing jobs, which is $167 per month, then you earn an extra $100 per month from overtime or a second job, plus another $83 from side hustles or by selling things, and $67 per month on average from new bank account bonuses. All of that put together brings us to our second $417 of extra income per month when we break it down in this oversimplified example. So then with both our $417 from saving money in those 5 ways and our $417 from increasing income in those 5 ways, when we put that all together, we get an extra $834 per month, or $10,000 saved in 1 year, which is our ultimate goal here with this video. But of course, that's also assuming that you're budgeting your money so that every single month your spending is under control, which most people don't know how to do. So I've got you covered with a super easy budgeting method and free download that you can follow if you go watch this video over here next. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.